Today is November 24th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 8, Two Wives. We'll be reading page 111. At the 12 and 12, we will continue tradition number 2 by reading page 135. And of course, we'll read today's 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. That gives me a big old smile on my face today. Because no matter what happened yesterday, whether positive or negative, it's over now. And we get a fresh start today to live an honest life, a sober life. It's a miracle just to be alive today. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. Now, the Big Book, we're on page 111 of the chapter Two Wives. The first principle of success is that you should never be angry. Even though your husband becomes unbearable and you have to leave him temporarily, you should, if you can, go without rancor. Patience and good temper are most necessary. Our next thought is that you should never tell him what he must do about his drinking. If he gets the idea that you're a nag or a killjoy, your chance of accomplishing anything useful may be zero. He will use that as an excuse to drink more. He will tell you that he is misunderstood, and this may lead to lonely evenings for you. He may seek someone else to console him, and not always another man. Be determined that your husband's drinking is not going to spoil your relations with your children or your friends. They need your companionship and your help. It is possible to have a full and useful life, though your husband continues to drink. We know women who are unafraid, even happy under these conditions. Do not set your heart on reforming your husband. You may be unable to do so, no matter how hard you try. We know these suggestions are sometimes difficult to follow, but you will save many a heartbreak if you can succeed in observing them. Your husband may come to appreciate your reasonableness and patience. This may lay the groundwork for a friendly talk about his alcoholic problem. Try to have him bring up the subject himself. Be sure that you're not critical during a discussion. Attempt instead to put yourself in his place. Let him see that you want to be helpful rather than critical. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on tradition number 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. Bottom of page 134 and 135. This brings us straight to the question, does AA have a real leadership? Most emphatically, the answer is yes, notwithstanding the apparent lack of it. Let's turn again to the deposed founder and his friends. What becomes of them? As their grief and anxiety wear away, a subtle change begins. Ultimately, they divide into two classes known in AA slang as elder statesmen and bleeding deacons. The elder statesman is the one who sees the wisdom of the group's decision, who holds no resentment over his reduced status, whose judgment, fortified by considerable experience, is sound, and who is willing to sit quietly on the sidelines patiently awaiting developments. The bleeding deacon is one who is just as surely convinced that the group cannot get along without him, who constantly connives for re-election to office, who continues to be consumed with self-pity. A few hemorrhage so badly that, drained of all AA spirit and principle, they get drunk. At times, the AA landscape seems to be littered with bleeding forms. Nearly every old-timer in our society has gone through this process in some degree. Happily, Most of them survive and live to become elder statesmen. They become the real and permanent leadership of AA. Theirs is the quiet opinion, the sure knowledge and humble example that resolves a crisis. When sorely perplexed, the group inevitably turns to them for advice. They become the voice of the group conscience. In fact, these are the true voice of Alcoholics Anonymous. They do not drive by mandate, they lead by example. This is the experience which has led us to the conclusion that our group conscience, well advised by its elders, will be in the long run wiser than any single leader. "24 hours a day, November 4th. AA thought for the day. I can do things that I never did before. Liquor took away my initiative and my ambition. I couldn't get up the steam to start anything. I let things slide. When I was drunk, I was too inert to comb my hair. Now I can sit down and do something. I can write letters that need to be written. I can make telephone calls that should be made. I can work in my garden. I can pursue my hobbies. I have the urge to create something, that creative urge that was completely stifled by alcohol. I am free to achieve again. Have I recovered my initiative?" Meditation for the day. In thy presence is the fullness of joy. At thy right hand are pleasures forever. We cannot find true happiness by looking for it. Seeking pleasure does not bring happiness in the long run, only disillusionment. Do not seek to have this fullness of joy by seeking pleasure. It cannot be done that way. Happiness is a byproduct of living the right kind of life. True happiness comes as a result of living in all respects the way you believe God wants you to live, with regard to yourself and other people. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not always seek pleasure as a goal. I pray that I may be content with the happiness that comes when I do the right thing. Daily Reflection, November 4th. A daily discipline. When self-examination, meditation, and prayer, are logically related and interwoven, the result is an unshakable foundation for life. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 98. The last 3 steps of the program invoke God's loving discipline upon my willful nature. If I devote just a few moments every night to a review of the highlights of my day, along with an acknowledgement of those aspects that didn't please me so much, I gain a personal history of myself, one that is essential to my journey into self-discovery. I was able to note my growth, or lack of it, and to ask in prayerful meditation to be relieved of those continuing shortcomings that cause me pain. Meditation and prayer also teach me the art of focusing and listening. I find the turmoil of the day gets turned out as I pray for His will and guidance. The practice of asking Him to help me in my strivings for perfection puts a new slant on the tedium of any day, because I know that there is honor in any job done well. The daily discipline of prayer and meditation will keep me in fit spiritual condition, able to face whatever the day brings, without the thought of a drink. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And buddy, it's another day where it's hard to choose. I feel like that's every single day, right? There's so much stuff brought out there. But, going back to the 24 hours a day, I love the prayer here on November 4th. I pray that I may not always seek pleasure as a goal. I pray that I may be content with the happiness that comes when I do the right thing. Sometimes the right thing's not glamorous and extravagant. Sometimes the right thing is just simply, okay, God, what is your will? Oh, you don't want me to drink today? Okay, I won't drink. Or God, what's your will in this situation? And you actually do that thing, whatever it might be. The peace that it brings, knowing I did the right thing, at least for me, has been better than any material gift I could ever hope for. Seeking my higher power's will and actually following through with it throughout the day, it does give me peace. It's like picking up a piece of trash when nobody's looking, right? At least when I've done the right thing, when nobody was looking. And I didn't do it for a show, I just did it because it was the right thing to do. God blesses me with a peace that passes really any understanding, just knowing I tried to do the right thing. And I think because I don't always get it right, when I do get it right, it feels so good. It makes me appreciate it a lot more. But it really all comes from the heart of gratitude. But with that, my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a good one. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.